I'm Danny, and today I'm here with my December wrap-up. Hi, I'm Danny, and today I'm here with my January wrap-up. So the video may not be up yet where I said I was going to make an effort to actually keep up with this book journal I got from Owlcrate, and I actually did keep up with it. There's not much written in it because, well, it's only January. I've got my release books that I was looking forward to, and then the books I read this month, which I actually haven't put all of them in here yet. So I've got a few more to update in there in this portion. And then all the books I read this month in this section. Instead of having to check with Goodreads for my ratings, I've actually got them written in here, so that will definitely save me a little time in certain videos when I'm not remembering what ratings I gave them. The first book I read was Some Girls Bite by Chloe Neal. This is about our main character. Why can I not remember her name? So our main character, like I said in my TBR, gets turned into a vampire after she's walking home from one of her college classes, and then she has to be introduced to a whole bunch of learn her vampire life. So she has to know the rules, what her diet restrictions are. One thing I found a little refreshing about this is as long as they drink blood, they can eat regular foods, so cheeseburgers, pasta, all that stuff that you'd be afraid of giving up if you became a vampire, they can eat, no problem, and they don't gain a pound. The food is more for pleasure, but drinking the blood is for nutrition. But while one thing it was different about this book, not a whole lot happened. Normally, if it's kind of an everyday life-to-life thing, I find myself getting kind of bored. But that's exactly what this was, and I really enjoyed it. It was just her everyday life, her learning her new role, of entering into Cadogan House, and all the vampire politics and the rules and everything, and the problem that certain other houses have with her house because they feed off of humans, while all the other houses have a no feeding off human policy. They allow themselves to indulge every once in a while, which of course our main character has no intention of doing. But yeah, it's very interesting, and you do get some more supernatural creatures in here. There are a few nymphs, a shapeshifter. I want to say there's one werewolf, but I cannot remember completely. But I really did enjoy it, even though it was everyday life sort of situations. And I did give this a 3.5 star, almost a 4, but not quite. Next I have a What the Spell by Brittany Garagottlieb. This is about our main character Brooklyn, who on her 16th birthday finally gets her parents to unlock her magical abilities, because they have had her in like a binding spell until she's 16, when they deemed that she should be old enough by then to use her powers, though everybody else has been learning their magic since they were old enough to walk, which put her, I think, at a very disadvantage, because what if she comes across some other magical kids who have, like, I don't know, a problem with her because they don't like the color of her hair or what have you. Teenagers find all sorts of reasons not to like each other. That put her at a very disadvantage, I believed, but there was no situations like that throughout this book. The other 2 magical users she did meet were very nice, and they did become her friends. Unfortunately, I did not finish this one. I DNF'd it after 111 pages, I think my bookmark's still, oh my god, my bookmark is still in here. Did not finish this after 111 pages because it was mainly that hey, that is not a choy. That is not a treat. Don't eat that. My dog trying to eat my magnetic bookmark. So the main problem I had with Brooklyn was that she had such smart thoughts, like, I'm not going to change myself to make the popular kids like me, or I'm not going to change myself so that this boy will like me. Which on the boy side, she truly did. She didn't change herself at all to make her like him. But it's the popular kids. She kept thinking that she was not going to do this or do that or change herself at all so that the popular kids would like her. And then 3 pages later, she would do that exact thing she said she was not going to do. And then with her crush, Brittany's family has a history of being magical matchmakers, which means they can kind of like feel the strings of attraction to people. And certain times when they connect those strings, those people could end up being together forever, but if they're not meant to be, then the attraction will kind of like fizzle away and the relationship ends. Instead of consulting the boy, one of the other magical users that she knows, instead of consulting him and telling him about what she wants to do, which is kind of like connect their strings to see if perhaps they could be together forever, she just does it without him knowing. And I'm like, girl, this is so going to backfire on you, my God. So yeah, I wasn't in the mood for it, and if I had known that the main character is so immature and honestly stupid, I probably would have put this off a little further. I do want to finish it because I do have book 2 in the series, and I want to get to that one, although I think that one follows a completely different character. I'm not sure though, but I still want to know what happens to this one because I'm pretty sure that they will run into each other at some point. I gave this a 2.5 star. Next, I have Twice Tempted by Jeaniene Frost. This book is the second book in the Night Prince series, which I believe I read the first book last month. And this continues to follow Vlad and Layla after the whole explosion at the end of the last book. And the plot in this one jumped off pretty quick. I expected, because as it tells us in the back, that Layla will be tired of getting the cold shoulder from Vlad and him not willing to admit his feelings, and then she will leave. I didn't expect this to happen to at least 100 pages in, at the least. Maybe 150 at the most. But it happened before the 50-page mark. I'm pretty sure, at least. Yeah, it happened barely after 30 pages, so it happened a lot quicker than I thought, and I thought for some reason that would make the book drag a little less, but I think because it took off so fast, there was a certain part in the, not quite the middle, but not quite the beginning, like that middle point between the middle and the beginning, that did drag a little bit, but it was fine. It wrapped up pretty quickly, and then Layla ends up going back to Transylvania, and then her and Vlad end up working through their issues. So I did enjoy that. It did not drag on for another book. I honestly didn't think I could continue it if their issues were not solved in this book and then dragged into the next book. I wasn't sure if I could read it. Yeah, so like I said, the main point of this is Layla leaving, and that did jump off pretty quickly, but it also made other parts drag a little bit because it happened so early in the book. But I think the plot was happening just a little too fast, because there was a certain point in the book where I'm like, okay, this sounds like it's going to be the end, and yet there's about 100 pages left. So I do think this happened just a little too quickly, and that it should have slowed up just a little bit, because it felt like it was wrapping up to the end, and then there was still 100 pages left. So yeah, I think it just should have slowed down just a tiny bit. Okay guys, this is proof that my mother actually does listen to me. Just rambling on about books I enjoy or ones I'm looking forward to. This is proof that she actually listens, because she bought me Slayer by Kiersten White. I honestly did not think she was truly listening that much, because I know that we mainly like talk about thrillers that I read, because that's like her thing. Her thing is like thrillers and mysteries and stuff. So when I read about those, we do talk about them. But when I'm rambling on about a paranormal or a fantasy book, I did not really think she listened. This is proof that she listened. I will probably be reading this one next month, if not the following one, because I think I've pretty much got my TBR for February already picked out. But if I end up finishing those early, I may start this one right after that. Hi guys, so that first part of the video you saw was the beginning of the month, and I had to get those books back to the library because they were due that day. So it is now the end of the month. It is the 30th. So this is this is the end of my wrap up for January 2019. So next I have Moonshine and Magic by Bella Falls. So our main character is Charlie Goodwin, who is a witch who is finally returning to her home of Honeysuckle Hollow. She returns home to find not only that her ex-fiance is now engaged to her cousin, but she also arrives a few hours before her uncle is murdered, and she stumbles upon the body. But her grandmother ends up giving her a magical memory relief, like kind of trying to like save her from the trauma of finding her uncle's dead body, who she was very close to. And instead of it just erasing a little bit or making it less vivid, it pretty much erases it. She can barely remember a thing until almost about halfway through the book. This one, for a cozy romance, was pretty good. I found myself, the beginning was good. I found myself by the middle being pretty bored and almost gave up on it a few times, but I decided to push my way through and finish it. And I guess who the killer was, the moment the character was introduced, I'm like, he's the killer. And throughout the book, I'm like, he's the killer. How can you people not see this? It's him. But they didn't see it. Oh, quite a few lives could have been saved if they had just listened to me. I did give this one a 2.5 star rating. Almost a 3, but not quite there. Next I have How to Save an Undead Life by Haley Edwards. This is the first book in the Beginner's Guide to Necromancy trilogy. Our main character in this is Grill Woodworth, who used to be the Woolworth heiress until she was convicted of possibly killing her guardian, and she went to this like really awful supernatural jail, and now she is out for reasons unknown, and she hosts a Savannah ghost walk around, well, Savannah, and so they visit like all the haunted places. So throughout this book you find out, one, why Greer was released, which is kind of leads to a whole lot of other things in this book, because she's constantly being approached by other supernatural parties wanting to like court her and make an alliance with her, which she's not sure why, because she's no longer the Woolworth heiress, so she's not sure why they want an alliance with her. And once you find out why she was let out of jail and a few other things, you get to understand it. And yeah, so, but I really did enjoy this one. It's hard to describe the book without giving away anything spoilery, but I really did enjoy this one, and I gave this one a 4-star rating. Next I picked up Ruin and Stars by Lindsay Miller. This is the sequel to, this is the second book in the duology, so it is the second and last book of the Mask of Shadow series, I think it's called. Yeah, just a sequel to Mask of Shadows. It doesn't give the series name. Unfortunately, I didn't finish this one. I got about 130 pages in, I think, and I just put it down because I wasn't in the mood for it. It definitely wasn't because it wasn't good, because I was enjoying what I was reading. I just wasn't in the mood for it. This was definitely a lot more political than the first one, which is definitely something I have to be in the mood for. So I definitely will try this again at a later date, just not right now. But what I did read, I would give a 3-star rating. Next, I read Trouble with the 12th Grave, just to kind of try and recap everything that happened in this one, because for some reason I could not pull up a single thing that happened in this book in my head. I remembered pretty much everything that happened in the rest of the book. The last thing I did remember was Charlie putting Reyes in the God Glass, and that was it. I could not remember anything after that, which is weird. But as I was reading this, other things did start coming back to me. Okay, this is actually my 3rd time trying to film this portion of the video, because my computer just doesn't seem to want to let this video be, because I put it on the computer and I add it to my video clips. I go to edit it, error. Okay, I deleted it, tried it again, error. I refilmed it, did it again, error. So this is my last time. If it doesn't go this time, I'm just gonna stick it in my wrap up for February, because I can't anymore. Last book I read in January was Summoned to the 13th Grave by Dorinda Jones. This is the last book in the Charlie Davidson series, and I really did like it. I was worried about disappointment and what would happen, and I was afraid Charlie wouldn't come in until like a good portion through the book. I thought maybe this book would be told like from Reyes' point of view, or maybe from Charlie's point of view, but she's like watching everyone she loves from like her galaxy or something. I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but yeah, so I really did enjoy this one. I gave this a 5-star rating. It was funny and snarky and smutty, and it was just everything I've come to love in the series. And during like the last few chapters, I had like that rock at the pit of my stomach when you know something is about to go terribly wrong and someone you love is about to die. And I can't go into what happened because, well, major spoiler for the last book in the series. And yeah, but I really liked it. I love the part with the lion, like when she was comparing herself to Indiana Jones. I like, something's gonna happen. As soon as she moves that box, something is gonna happen. And in true Indiana Jones style, as soon as she moved that box, something happened. I've never seen a black lion though. That was definitely different. But yeah, I really did enjoy it and I loved it. And that last part where Michael came in and he tried to take one of our characters, and I was like, no, it cannot end like this. I thought maybe that Charlie was going to rebel or something, and then it was going to cause a whole another spin-off series or something, which I wouldn't have minded. But yeah, I really liked the way this ended, and I'm wondering if she's going to write a story from like maybe Beep's perspective. It's a possibility. I wouldn't mind. I probably miss Charlie's point of view, but I have a feeling her daughter will be just like her, so I probably would still get my Charlie fix. And I'm wondering how this is going to play out for Beep, because if you read the book, you know what happens at the very end, what Charlie and Reyes do to protect Beep. So I'm wondering, is that the reason why they're not supposed to be around when Beep gets older? Are they still that way, or does something else happen? I'm wondering how exactly this is gonna play out. But that last line killed me, where Charlie was searching the city, the state, the country, then the galaxy, and then she was just like, where's Osh? I was like, oh, that is typical Charlie. So yeah, I really did love this. I gave it a 5-star rating, and hopefully this time the video comes through, because I don't think I can record this again. That is officially the end of my wrap up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!